Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we are now moving along in our K1 visa process. We have today, September 15th, received our case number. Oh, fiesta time, right? We got our case number. So that's good news. Our NOA 1 letter is dated April 18th, 2022. And our NOA 2 letter is dated May 30th, 2023. So it took forever to get our case number. Now we're waiting for the next step, the welcome letter, the invoice number if they provide one, etc., etc., etc. But this video is about how do you show proof of income for immigration if you're self-employed? How do you do that? Come on along and I'll help you with this video for you. Now I live in the panhandle of Florida, near Pensacola, north of Navarre Beach. Navarre Beach is where we're going to get married. Captain Bill is our wedding officiant, and Karina is from beautiful Caracas, Venezuela, way up in the mountains in Venezuela, but she is a legal resident of Bogota, Colombia. She's been there for 5 years now, managing a ice cream store. Now, we're in our K1 visa process just like you guys, okay? And basically I get just 1099s now. I'm a real estate agent. I'm retired from the military. I'm making YouTube videos for you guys. So I don't get a W-2 anymore. I get a 1099. So I could be considered a self-employed or an independent contractor. Okay? Now, how do I prove income as a self-employed independent contractor? Okay, well, this is why I've made this video. So if you're a self-employed contractor, okay, and you are processing a K1 visa or a spousal visa, you are going to need to show, so basically you're self-employed. You're going to have to provide proof, myself included, of income to immigration, basically to the consular officer at the embassy, or if you're on a spousal visa, to the National Visa Center when you upload your documentarily qualified documents. Now, this is about K1 visas, not spousal visas. Now, as long as you are consistently making money, even though if the amount may not be exactly the same each month, just like me, you can still provide that documentation to immigration that will prove to the embassy consular officer or the MVC that you are making the income required to sponsor your beneficiary. Okay, now, what are some of the documents that you're going to need? Well, let me go over the documents that you need to prove income being self-employed. Now, using myself as an example for you guys, I will be providing 1099 documents, 1099 documents, which serve as proof of income. And when do we get 1099 documents? Well, they're mailed to you every January. You got to have them. They're supposed to be mailed to you by January 31st of every year. And then you use those 1099 documents to file your income taxes with, okay? These documents are given to employees or independent contractors who are considered as freelancers, etc., like myself, okay? I'm a freelancer. Now, if you get a 1099 document, that means you or the company you freelance with as an independent contractor has filled out a 1099 and filed it with or forwarded it to a copy of this to the IRS. So the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, will get a copy of the 1099 that is mailed to you every January. Now, you have to report this income on your tax return, on your 1040. Okay? 1099 documents, well, they contain the self-employed individual's tax identification number or social security number, which is an identifier. Okay? So when I get my 1099s, it's going to be showing my social security number. Okay? They also contain the amount of money which was paid to me on the 1099, which is proof of income. Sounds good, right? Another way to prove income, if you are self-employed, is a profit and loss statement. So if you're trying to prove income to the immigration folks at the MVC or the embassy, consular officer at the embassy, a profit and loss statement will show your total income. Okay, shows your expenses, your profits from your self-employed operations. So let's suppose you own a trucking company. You want to show your profits, and then your expenses could be paying for diesel, oil changes, maintenance on your truck. But the bottom line is, you don't want to deduct too much, because you need your income, okay, to exceed the minimum income requirements required for immigration. So don't go into a big tizzy deducting everything, thinking you're making out when you're not, because then you may not qualify for the visa. You got to get a sponsor, joint sponsor. But not only can you use them as proof of income, you can also use them to make better business decisions. We live in a capitalist free market republic, the United States of America, okay? And beneficiaries who are coming to America, I want you to jump into the capitalist arena and make as much money as you can, and I give you a goal to become a millionaire in your first 5 years. You can do it if you work hard and have a positive attitude. How about that? Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, if you are self-employed, okay, immigration want to make sure that you have a regular source of income coming into your family kitty, all right? The way you can do this and to prove regular income is with bank statements. Bank statements show regular deposits and regular withdrawals from your account, okay? Bank statements with plenty of movement will show the other party, USCIS, actually the consular officer at the embassy, that you're regularly getting money and from your freelance work. You know, so if I sell a house, I'll get a 1099 from my broker. Okay, Diego, this is what you did, and this is how much you made, and here's your 1099, which all gets combined, which will be all given to me in January every year. Okay, then I got to pay tax on that. Oof. Dang, I don't like paying taxes. It makes me sick. Tax, you work so hard and you give it to the government and then they waste it. Just my opinion. So my recommendation, if you're self-employed, is to get 12 months worth of bank statements showing regular deposits going into your bank every month, however it is you pay yourself, or whoever it is who pays you as a freelancer. You could be a freelance photographer, getting paid by a photography company. You sell them your pictures. They pay you. They give you a 1099. You can show these deposits in your bank statements, okay? Now, annual tax returns, okay? A federal income tax return is conclusive proof, evidence of all your earnings within a year, right? On your 1040. Now, this is a legal document which shows your total income for the year, okay? And it's filed with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, perhaps the most credible proof of income documentation you can show if you are self-employed. Now remember, only payments over $600 are required by law to have a 1099 form and then submit it to the IRS. Okay? So if you make less than $600 per month, you won't get a 1099. And you probably won't qualify for the K-1 visa either. Okay? So make sure also that you still report all your income on your tax return, no matter how much it is, to avoid possible legal issues in the future. Okay? Now, you can get self-employed stubs. Self-employed pay stubs. Self-employed individuals can create their own pay stubs and to serve as a record of their earnings, okay? And at the same time, these pay stubs may be used like any other pay stub as proof of income. It's documentation. It's evidence for immigration, for a financial transaction that requires it, okay? But keep in mind that your self-employment pay stub has to contain some things to be considered legal and valid, which is the following. First, it's got to show your gross income or gross pay, okay, or the total amount of money that you received for the services that you rendered, whether you're a photographer, whether you're selling houses. Well, you got to prove, for whatever service it is that you do. The second one is the deductions like Medicare, Social Security, state and local taxes. They're not automatically deducted from your salary. So make sure you figure those out and calculate them properly, okay? And lastly, you are also required to include the net pay on this self-pay stub, which is the total amount after subtracting the deductions, okay? So if you don't know how to do this, don't worry. If you're self-employed, you could get an a CPA or an accountant to do this for you. That's what I recommend. If you don't receive pay stubs, okay, don't worry. Or if you're paid in cash, let's suppose you are paid in cash. Okay, pagar in efectivo. Okay, it is still possible to show proof of income. But you know, the following options will be good for you. Create your own pay stubs. If your client doesn't provide you with pay stubs, whoever it is you work for, you can still make your own. Okay, and every time you are paid, create a pay stub that includes who paid you, which would be you, the date of the payment, the amount paid, and what work you did. Okay, very easy, right? The next thing you can do for immigration as evidence of being self-employed is maintain an income tracking spreadsheet, if you want to get into that. Okay, now if you don't have any bookkeeping software and you don't want to pay for bookkeeping software, and don't worry, you know, deposit the cash into your bank account, put it in the bank, okay, and your cash payments which are deposited to your bank account will show up on your bank statements, which you can use as proof of income. How about that? Create receipts for those paying you in cash. You know, another great option is to give your clients receipts for their cash payments. Get a receipt. If you work for a photography company and they pay you for freelance work, have them write a receipt when they pay you in cash. You can buy a receipt book, get you a receipt book, or use an online tool that produces receipts. Whatever's got to be best for you. Now, show your tax returns, okay? If you filed your tax returns correctly, they should show how much income you made the last year, okay, for immigration purposes. And these are used as proof of income when you are paid in cash, okay? So that's how to do it if you're self-employed, okay? I guess I would consider myself self-employed. I have my office here at my house. So if you're self-employed, it's always a good idea to keep accurate and up-to-date records of everything, okay? Just in case you need it, like for an immigration K-1 visa. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I do the live stream 3 times a week for free. Free information for you on how to process a K-1 visa. I do it on Mondays at 7 p.m., Wednesdays at 7 p.m., and Saturdays at 7 p.m. I speak for about an hour or an hour and a half during the week for free, giving you free info on how to do a K-1 visa. Plus I do surprise live streams during the week, in the mornings, in the evenings, whatever. Okay? So join us at the live stream. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney and I don't work for USCIS. I don't give you any legal advice, zero legal advice, but I've been through 2 K-1 visas and a spousal visa successfully over the past 8 years, and I just got my case number today. Imagine that. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and we will see you at the live stream.
I'll be back.